Some people and many people will get married to fill emotional voids. I feel lonely. Oh, I don't have friends. No one really likes me. These are all problems we all deal with in some way, but marriage doesn't fix it. Okay? So feels familiar. So someone might feel familiar, but in a very unhealthy way. So again, if you grew up in a place where, in a family, that there might be toxicity, cursing, yelling, whatever it may be, and someone comes to you and makes you feel okay, but they're still similar in a certain way, that's not solving the problem. That's actually adding to the problem. Another big point is that sometimes we'll choose people based on, they make us feel good. That should be okay though, right? That this person makes us feel good. Should that be okay? Yeah, right? But what if there's an unhealthy part to this where I'm fulfilling a void? That this person might also be very, I don't want to use words like toxic, it's so trendy. Not toxic, because I don't believe everyone's toxic. But we all come from different families where maybe they yell, and that's okay. Or maybe they speak very direct, and that's okay, right? And in other families, you might have been grown up in a soft place where things were talked in a soft tone, and maybe no yelling was involved. So when two people come together in that sense, it's gonna clash because they're not talking on the level that you are familiar with. But going back to the making someone feel good, sometimes what happens is, and we all know the term, love is blind. Someone shows up and they give you everything and say the right things, but when things really hit, the ground, I'm not going to use other terms, ugly comes out, right? And it's because the not so great things surfaced. So along with that point is, you rely on marriage to fix yourself. Now, I'm going to touch base on this, and not because I'm a therapist, but your mental health. You have an addiction. You have mental health disorder. You have high anxiety. You have depression. Depression is a big one. Families will encourage someone to get married because they think that you need to get married and you won't be depressed anymore. Okay? And I have to say that it's not okay. You are solely responsible for yourself in that situation. Any of those things that I listed, marriage will not fix it. You will just add more issues to the situation. You won't grow together, unfortunately. And part of it is because that person will not know how to reach you, will not know how to support you. Another point that I think that is important to touch on, and it's something that you should understand. If you are someone who comes from issues in your family, and I'm talking about some deep issues, whatever it may be, it could be something as small as, I saw my parents get into a fight with someone, for instance, on the streets, and it was the most scariest thing in the whole wide world to you, right? And it left something in you. It left you feeling scared, and no one spoke to you about it. To the worst of traumas, to the worst of things. And I don't have to go into that. Wallahi, I'm not here for discussing the worst of traumas. But what I really need you to understand is that if there are any anything from your childhood, from growing up, from high school, from any of it, it is important that you identify it and understand it for yourself, right? And what I mean by that further is, right, what triggers you? What are things, people, situations that trigger you? Now, if something triggers me and I get married, and inshallah, I pray that everyone gets married in the prophetic steps of marriage. You don't have that much time with that person before you get married, right? So, how do you think someone would feel if you're spending your day together, enjoying the day, one of you is triggered? Let's just say that trigger is an outburst. Let's say that trigger is throwing things or the reactions after. How would that other person feel? Not safe. Terrified. Because it's not just that it's not safe and terrified. You feel trapped. You do not know what to do. You don't know what to do in that situation. And when you're in that situation, maybe you want to reach out to your parents, but then you sit there and you say, well, that's going to cause more problems. Or I want to reach out to his family. And I encourage everyone too. If it's a situation where it needs the calling of the elders, call upon the elders. Without a hesitation. Right? But I want you to imagine, forget yourselves. I want you to imagine that you have your child, your daughter, you guys' daughter. And I said daughter because it's different. When you know you have a girl and she's your amana, I make this very clear to the men, and I don't mean to point to the men. You have a daughter, she's your amana before she moves on to the next man in her life, right? Okay. And girls, your son, because you're raising him to be the best of the husbands, okay? And I want you to imagine your daughter calling you, terrified that this just happened. Same thing for the boy, because it happens. Just like situations on the girl where she feels terrified and doesn't know what to do, on the girl's end, it also happens on the boy's end. And I am a witness for that, as I have couples, alhamdulillah, because I know it's very, when we hear about domestic violence or we hear about these things, we hear it's more towards the men. So I'm here I got you guys, don't worry. So there are cases where a man feels helpless, doesn't know what to do. Right? So I want you to go from that. You are responsible for these children. Not really when they're married, they're responsible for themselves. But they're calling upon you to fix the situation. Right? So I want you to feel that moment of, Mama, Baba, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Right? I want you from that place of being the parents, inshallah, but in this place of the parent, right? Hearing your child understand, I'm stuck and I do not want to do. We're going to do the reverse here, right? Then I want you to try to get those emotions and kind of put them in yourself. Okay. I want you to understand that feeling from that place as opposed to you. Because we are supposed to, when we get married, it's supposed to continue. So I want you to take a minute and I want you to reflect on the feeling of, wow, this child is coming to me who's married, who's on their own, right? And is triggered and is feeling because someone else couldn't handle their emotions or couldn't regulate. So this is not really for a discussion. This is more of like, I want you to feel that feeling. I bring that in this point because someone asked me one time, or I asked someone one time, they came to me and they asked me, well, there's this suitor for this person, right? So basically, there's a girl and there's a suitor that's asking for the girl. So I asked the person and I said, well, would you, to the girl that was the potential wife or bride, I said, well, when you look at this man, would you marry her off to your future daughter? Would you marry your future daughter to that man? And again, it just shows how much of an amana we have for our own children. And inshallah, when you have children, even if they don't exist yet, of the idea you have of that person. When I see this person who's potentially going to be my husband, what I then pick, can I marry this person to my own daughter? Is he matching the values and the morals that I wish to raise my daughter with? And he matches that. Because why? That man is going to be the father. Do you understand where I'm getting at? I know sometimes we think from the present. What I want, what I need, what I hear. But you have to take it a little step further. It's something I didn't do. Wallahi, and I'm talking from experience. And like as we say, غصبًا عنا, we get so, which is, it's out of our hands. We get so excited, we get so happy, we get so, yes, I'm getting engaged and I'm getting married. And we only think present. There are times where present is okay, but then there are times, no, I got to think about how's he going to raise my children? When my parents fall ill, will he be supportive of bringing my parents to my home? Right? Again, so thinking a little bit in the future. Now, how does this all tie back to knowing myself? Well, then all the things that I'm talking about, I'm sure a few values are coming up for you. Yes or no? Values and morals of what do I expect my marriage to look like? What do I expect this suitor to look like? Right? Comes up. Okay, khair. So another part of it is that understanding your emotions. We said triggers. Triggers is a big one because we can go from the extreme of someone who's lashing out, and we can go from the extreme that someone to the least, which I don't think it's the least because it also does damage, to the person who shuts down and stonewalls days upon days. What is stonewalling? Silent treatment. I think it's the worst punishment ever, actually. When someone refuses to speak to you, it's the worst thing ever. So, understanding those triggers, understanding where those triggers come from, so that it's a conversation. I work on it for myself, so then I can then relay it to somebody else and say, hey, these things happen, and this is how I handle it. How do you feel about that, right? So when you can't be vulnerable and authentic, you can't have deep conversations. So again, these are all, if you do not have these things, right, of what we're talking about, when you do not know yourself, whoa, that was a lot of light. I'm an owl, so like that is like crazy. All right, bismillah. So when I don't know myself before I get married, I can't have deep conversations. How important is it to have deep conversations? What's going to happen if I can't have a deep conversation with my husband? You're going to be bored, guys. I'm sorry. I'm letting you know. And that's normal. You're going to be bored in your relationship. Not only are you going to be bored, you can't have these conversations. You're going to think you're rejected all the time. You're going to be the victim or play the victim. You won't ask for help. And you're going to act like everything's fine. How annoying is that? How annoying is it when you go to your friend and you can tell that something's wrong and he's like, I'm fine. You as the friend, how annoying is that? What happens to the relationship? Let's go a little deeper. What happens to the relationship with a friend when you realize and can tell that they are completely off and they're like, I'm fine? Come on, girls. Discussion. Come on, guys. It deteriorates. Why would it deteriorate, though? They're not doing anything. They think they're not doing anything, by the way. Go ahead. Let's have the conversation. Come on. Yeah. Why should I tell you what I'm going through if you can't tell me what you're going through? That's a relationship. صح ولا لا? I married someone because, like in the Quran, it says, we're like a garment. طيب, if I'm like a garment and this person is supposed to cover me, but I can't talk to them. Or I have this front like I'm good. I don't need to talk to you. Now, if it's a turnoff in a friendship, how bad of a turnoff is it in a marriage? It's worse. Right? That cycle continues, it ends up in divorce just by not being vulnerable. Okay? Another part of it, if you don't know yourself, you're not going to know how to give love. And honestly, marriage needs a lot of it. So if you're not capable of giving love, more than likely, you can't receive it either. So you know how they talk about the 5 love languages? Who thinks it's a trend and who thinks it's real? 5 love languages. Is it a trend or is it real? 100% real. Like, are you trying to get brownie points for the other side? I can get you the brownie points without that. It is 100% real, because at the end of the day, I'm someone who likes gifts. I love gifts. Coffee is my best friend, okay? I'm being real, wallahi, right? But if I have my husband who comes home and says, well, I got the dishes tonight, okay? What are the, this is a whole different conversation, but 5 love languages. I can't talk. You know, it's past my bedtime, guys. You know this? I came out for you guys. I was driving here and I was like, oh, this was a bad idea. Okay, so 5 love languages. For real? You want to know? Well, time in Google. You want to do a Google search instead and you do it. How about that? There you go. Okay, cool. All right, cool. 5 love. Who was the guy? Who was the author? Who knows the author? Who? Yes, Gary Chapman. Chapman. I'm not good with authors, just the titles of books. Bismillah. All right. Okay, another point of not knowing yourself before marriage, and this one is your deen. Now, am I talking about, like, I don't know my deen, or I don't know my deen for myself? Which one is it? Deen for myself. Why does that matter? Oh, so you, subhanAllah, you know, on the like the prophetic guidance of looking for a spouse, and one of them is where you are in your deen, right? So, for instance, I'll give you an example. I'm learning in my deen. We're all learning. But I'm learning, right? Maybe I just started praying. Maybe I just started reading Quran. Now, I don't want anyone to get me wrong, like you shouldn't marry shuyukh or anything. That's not, wallahi, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is my level of deen has to not match. You want someone who's a little bit above you. But what happens if I'm just starting and I'm struggling to do that? and I marry someone who's on point all the time. Nothing wrong with that, wallahi. Best, I'm talking about from the level of, are we growing together, or is this going to be from a place of, why didn't you pray your sunnah? Why do you know that your sunnah? Those are great reminders, but there's so much pressure when I'm just trying. Like, I'm trying to get there. So for you guys, understanding where your level is, and inshallah, all of us, our plan should all of us be to continue growing, right? But understanding what your potential spouse, where they are, and if it's a place of growing, or if it's a place of like racing, if that makes sense, right? You might want someone who you're gonna battle and do Quran in a battle session. I read 2 more juz than you, right? But someone who's struggling would probably need the husbands that's gonna be like, come, let's just read the first 10 surahs of Juz Amma or something. Do you see the difference? Okay, so no hate. If you're gonna marry Sheikh, all power to you. But you need to understand that Sheikh's personality and characteristics, one, it comes to religion and how they wish to practice it, right? And there's nothing wrong with this. Everyone has someone. And what I mean by that, subhanallah, I'm going to bring this topic up just for the example's sake and not to get into it, right? There are, mashallah, women that are out there and career driven. Sah? Okay, wonderful. And then there are women who love homemaking. Yes or no? Do they care for a job or a career? Okay, we're good. We agree upon that, right? What boggles me is when the potential suitor who wants a woman that wants to stay home, but then they go for the career-oriented one. And then there's a huge fight. Everyone's there. The homemakers are there. The career-oriented are there. The pet lovers are there. Do you understand where I'm getting at? Yeah? Okay, so this is what I mean about the religion. There are people who want to have a competition with their wife in regards to deen, because that's the motivation, or the husband, vice versa. There are people who want to strive to learn. They want to be in the community. They want to do X, Y, and Z. And then there are others who are at a different pace. And that's all I'm saying, is that there is someone for someone out there. That's what I'm trying to say. And if you're trying so hard to make someone change, this is where it starts getting bumpy. It's not fair. Wallahi, it's not fair. Right? So it's just, I'm coming from that perspective, okay? All right, bismillah. So this is what it comes down to, alhamdulillah. This is what we do in our support circle. Values, knowing your values, your goals, your deal breakers, your emotional boundaries, your lifestyle. Those and they're at the bottom for a reason. Because I feel like those are the check boxes that we all check through, right? And again, the real work is understanding who am I emotionally, right? We all have temperaments. We all have different characteristics. But where it gets messed up or confused is that when we allow those temperaments to dictate what our lives and within our marriages look like. And that's where these big, huge fights and arguments start to happen. So we're going to do a little activity because I don't like talking. I said that already. Everyone's going to pick one person. Pick your partners, people. Yes, I'm making you mingle. Let's go. I'm sure you all have your friends here. All right, you got to listen. You're already talking. Pick your partner. Everyone pick their partner? Do I have to get up? I see people over there that don't got a partner. Everyone got their partners over here? Yeah? Okay, friends. All right. I'll be my own timekeeper. All right, bismillah. All right, ready? Yes, no? Okay. So this is something that they did to me in grad school. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to give the directions. All right. So this is called the listening activity. So for 2 minutes, you have two people, right? This is going to be a total of 4 minutes. Okay. For 2 minutes, one person's going to listen only. No input, no advice, zero. The only thing you're allowed to do is validate. Ayua, you got it. Okay, you're going to validate. You're going to eventually, at the end, paraphrase. So you're paying attention. So you're not just nodding. You're paying attention. You're validating, okay? So you're going to choose. The prompts are, one thing I'm still learning about myself, an emotional reaction I have that I don't fully understand, or one value I want my marriage to protect is. So this one you have to know your values, right? So a value I want my marriage to protect so that it's important. So it's something that you'll carry on with your marriage, right? All right. Again, 2 minutes. No input. No advice. The only thing you can do is say, I get that. I understand where you're coming from. Hold on, I gotta set the timer. Don't start yet. And then, when the 2-minute timer goes off, the other person goes. Cool? All right. Yeah, I will. Hold on, it's too loud. Hello? Timekeeper. All right, I'm saying the prompts again. No, don't go. Okay, thank you. So here we go. Prompts. One thing I'm still learning about myself. An emotional reaction I have. Done. Should I act like a teacher? I'm about to. No, I'm joking. All right, guys. Okay. Reflections. Who thought this was super hard to stay quiet? No, it's hard. Yeah. Okay. Anybody here? I don't think it's hard for you guys. Is it hard? Was it hard? It was hard to stay quiet. Like to stay quiet while the person was talking. Not at all. Okay. What was hard about it? Nothing? It was easy? Anybody else? Okay. That's a very good point. Ah. Did you guys paraphrase by any chance? No. You didn't paraphrase? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sorry guys, so you guys can hear. Malish, I'm sorry. Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Why did you feel the need to do all that? Okay. Do you lose from the moment when you do that? Okay. All right. Kudos to you. Okay. So you're not overthinking it. You're overthinking it, but you're not overthinking it where you're lost. Okay. Cool. Anybody else want to share, guys? Ah, ah, okay. Ah, speak. Okay. So you felt like there was permission to speak. Okay. 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 You had your hand. I don't know what else to talk about. Oh, 6, 7. No, I'm joking. I have a 7-year-old, and my daughter's gonna kill me. Good. Okay. What about from the perspective of wanting? Well, I don't know how deep you guys got into, being that it's 2 minutes. This perspective of wanting to speak over the person while they were speaking. Anybody had that? Wanting to speak over the person, not because you're, maybe you did relate to the person. Maybe you did relate to them and you had the urge to like, me too. Oh my God, that's awesome. Like that. Yeah. Very good. Can anyone understand why? I'll get to you in a minute. Why I did this activity? Can anyone kind of like get a grasp of why? What does this have to do with marriage? Hold on, there's the hands. I like this. Go ahead. Sah? Anybody else on this side before I go to the other side? Yeah? Yeah. That's so like key on. Sah. 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 Yeah, 100%. I agree. Anybody else from the side? Who said that? Go ahead. Yeah, 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 right. Look, listening out for those like cues of like, oh wait, this person is upset. Now, what happens when this person says, I'm really upset with you? Does that really happen though? Like in a heated conversation, there's huge defensiveness, right? There's a place of defensiveness. There's a place of, I'm not wrong. Yeah. Okay. Because you identify that it could be a problem. Yeah. I gotta go to the girls. They're gonna kill me. Hurry up. Are you reading those books? Yeah. I just want to know. I'm no judgment. I really want to know. Like, I want to understand, are really like guys putting in that effort? The girls are, as far as the books. I know that. Okay, khalas. Okay, tamam. Okay. That's important. I'm no judgment, wallahi. Sure. Okay, I agree. And actually, this is something that comes up in couples therapy a lot, where it's like, I can't talk to my husband because all he knows how to do is tell me what to do. No, I'm being real, wallahi. And it's not that. I understand that it's not that, right? My girls, yes. I agree, 100%. And I think that it needs to be verbalized, right? Because a lot of times what happens is that the way this fight starts is, maybe you come home from work and your spouse is like, ready to unload everything, and you're like, whoa, right? Like, where did this come from? And for you, you're like, okay, I have to solve this problem right now. But in all essence, the person just needed to talk, right? So it's important that you kind of give the warning of, I just need to vent. I don't really need solutions. Because a lot of the times, the person has the solution already. It's just that they're really upset about whatever happened, right? Yes, you had your hand up, right? Yeah, I think complete silence is weird, right? I think there needs to be a break of like, yeah, I get that. I hear you. I know that's tough, right? That's validation, right? Anybody else? There were a few hands. I'm sorry, girls. Anybody else about this specific activity? Yes. So you want some feedback, but not solution. You want the dialogue. How did that make you feel? Why did it make you feel that way? Yes. Okay. But not a solution. Okay. Then you have to verbalize, I need a solution. What do I do here? Right? Okay, cool. Anybody else on the activity before we move on? Any questions? Yes, sister in the back. I can't see, so. Yep. Sah. Yes. We all need to work on listening, right? It's actually, I will get into it. It's actually one of the ways of the Prophet, ﷺ, right? He was a listener. He was a listener, and anyone who came to him, he sat and he listened. He didn't ask questions, actually. He listened until the person was done. And then, if he needed to guide, he guided. If he needed to do something physically, he did it. So he listened. He was in tuned all the way until he knew exactly what the prompt was at the end of it. So it's something that, inshallah, we are going to go over it. I actually don't know how much time I have. How much time do I have? Oh, okay. Because I don't know if I want to turn this into another activity or I just want to say it. But I think you guys are good with activities. Yes? No? Okay, good. Because I get tired, you know? I'm tired. So I actually want to go through who's familiar with emotional intelligence? Who read Mikhail Smith's book? I got the hands. Okay, good. Alhamdulillah. That's good, right? Something that I will tell you about marriage, you will forever be working on it. Forever. Yani, like, it's work, right? And when I say work, it's not like you're 9 to 5 that you're exhausted at the end of the day and you hate it so much. Inshallah, you don't hate it, right? But it is work. It's forever figuring out how to make it better. Forever, how do I better understand this person, right? But again, you can't do that unless you're good. That person can make you biscuits and cupcakes and chocolate cakes every single day. But if you're not good, it's not good. Okay? And it's something that, honestly, wallahi, I need you to take that point so seriously. You are not good. No relationship will be good. Okay? Okay, so Islamic emotional intelligence, it's built on 6 inner qualities. Muhasaba. Who knows what muhasaba? Girl, this word is thrown everywhere these days. Did you hold yourself accountable today? Who held themselves accountable today? You did? Good job. Good job. Yep, you did? Great. Did I hold myself accountable today? I gotta ask myself that question. I did. I got on the treadmill. And that was a big deal for me because I hate the treadmill. Alhamdulillah. Now, obviously, from an emotional standpoint, though, all jokes aside, what does accountability look like from an emotional standpoint for yourself? You are the one who's holding yourself accountable. What does that look like? Yeah, that's a question. Okay. 100% self-awareness. Self-awareness. That's exactly what it is. I'm self-aware. I'm aware. I don't need my spouse to tell me I was out of line. I knew I was out of line. I knew I yelled. So I'm not going to wait for my husband to come and be like, I'm pissed off because you yelled at me. I'm going to step away, regulate, and then be able to come back and be like, I'm sorry, I yelled at you. Do you see the difference? Now, your spouse is going to call you out. I'm not saying that this is a perfect, I'm going to be self-aware all the time and whatnot. And your spouse should be calling you out, and you should be calling out your spouse. But it shouldn't be to a point where it's always that your spouse is calling you out. You need to be able to catch it and be aware of it and take accountability, whether it's apologizing, whether it's acknowledging, I yelled and I am so sorry. I didn't take out the garbage. I know that's messed up. I'm sorry. I know how important that is to you. Right? So muhasaba. Sabr. Why do we need sabr? No jokes. No, you can tell the jokes. I'm into it. Who wants to throw a joke with that one? I'll give it to you guys. Who wants to throw a sabr joke on that one? I'll give it to you. I'm letting you guys take a rip on it. No? They don't want to tell a joke? Okay. Well, more than that. A lot of Egyptian ones are coming to my mind, but I'm not going to say it. Allah yasabbarak, right? Okay. No, but all jokes aside, why do we need sabr in a marriage? Come on, guys. Yes, sister. Mm. What about sabr for ourselves? So now, kind of like stepping back, it's not even about sabr. I'm being patient for the person in front of me because they're pissing me off. It's more about sabr because I'm struggling. What does that look like? Yeah? But what is sabr for? Yeah, but what is sabr for? Yani it's not for Allah. Allah doesn't need sabr. You're onto something. There's a word. You guys are thinking as a couple and instead of yourselves. Go ahead. Huh? Yeah, but again, sabr yourselves, not the couple. Want getting there. Yes. Yeah. Okay. You're getting there. Who's pointing? Okay, go ahead. Uh-huh. Yeah. طيب. No, no, no. We don't want the marriage yet. This is all about you first. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Almost there, kind of. Yeah. Getting there. You're getting there. You guys are all touching it. But let's talk about the trend of the nervous system. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, in order so we don't get into fight or flight, what do we got to do? We got to what? Oh, Allahu Akbar. Self-regulation, my friends. We have in Islam a built-in system for our nervous system to regulate. This is all about regulation. This is all about regulating. That 10 more minutes, yeah, haloli. Around? طيب ماشي, okay. We might not be able to do the activity, but inshallah. All right, so sabr is self-regulation, guys. Okay? Is the self-regulation. So, muhasaba, I'm aware. I'm aware that I lost my temper. صح? Sabr means I take a step back and I am patient with myself and I'm kind of like doing what I need to do. Istighfar, hamd, making wudu, taking a walk, right? Sabr is having patience within ourselves, right? That's all parts of it. Now, someone said, Bismillah, someone said the mawadda, the rahma, right? Then that's what comes next, rahma, having mercy. And I'm going to say that how important mercy, rahma is for yourself and in your marriage. I always bring this point, right? This point of, I'm going to go take it back because gender roles is such a thing in couples sessions, Right? It's really not that big of a deal, guys. Just do the work and call it a day. But anyways, um, let's say there's a husband, and I'm just gonna say this dynamic. It's just an example. No one come for me, wallahi, please. It's a whole nother session. Let's just say the husband says, Fulana, I want you to take care of the house, and I want you to be the one who cooks and cleans, and I'll take care of everything outside of the home. Tamam? Understood? Yes, wonderful. Okay. Let's say, so here's the switch up that I tell girls to say, right? Because this is where the rahmah piece comes in. And this is how I know if the potential spouse has rahmah, who believes in it. That's chill. I'll clean, I'll cook. What happens when I'm sick? Doesn't matter, right? I don't care how you do it, right? I don't care how you cook, how you clean, right? But what happens when I fall sick? Whatever it is, the mercy part, right? There was an agreement. I clean, you provide. Sah? Whatever it is. Sah? Okay. But what happens when I can't do it? Whether he does it for her, whether he goes above and beyond and says, I know you're sick. It's the rahmah part. One day, I'll switch it up for the sake of the brothers so they don't hate me and the women don't hate me. Let's just say, one day he comes home, I got laid off of work. Right? Because listen, you can marry the richest man in the world. But Allah razaq, at the end of the day, he gives and he can take. So your husband comes home and tells you, I got laid off. Are we going to go crazy? Or are we going to put in the factor of rahmah and say, okay, what do we got to do? Are we getting the idea of how this rahmah should show up in our marriages? Okay, how does rahmah show up for ourselves? Anybody want to? Go ahead. Right? We don't have to be an extreme perfectionist. We can't beat up ourselves so much where it's like, oh my God, I'm the worst person in the whole wide world. I'm the worst spouse. I'm the worst this. I'm the worst mother. No. That's just going to lead into another cycle of a bigger problem, right? It's not going to solve. The next part of emotional intelligence within Islam is adab, social awareness and etiquette. Now, I'm not going to explain why this matters for yourself. I think you know why this matters for yourself. Y'all want to get married, you need to have some adab. Let's just be real, okay? So, why does this matter as a couple? Boundaries, respect, right? Because a lot of times what happens is we get relaxed in a marriage. We get comfortable. And we think it's okay to use curse words or to call people out in front of other people or whatever it may be, right? So adab is super important. Hikmah, wise communication. What does wise communication look like? Right? Now, can you have hikmah in your words if you are heated? No. Your anger will not have any hikmah. Because is your spouse listening to the hikmah? Or is she so focused on the anger? Nah, you can't. See, that's the problem. You can't walk into it thinking that she's gonna figure it out. I just said that, right? Figuring it out? Absolutely not. No one can figure it out. It doesn't exist. Expectations don't exist. In a marriage, expectations don't exist. You need to verbalize your expectations. You can't use the figure it out quotes because it's not going to work. Okay? So no, you cannot use anger, for instance. So now, what if you're emotional? Can you use hikmah? No. When approaching a spouse that you know cannot tolerate direct tone or high pitches or whatever it may be, will you get any hikmah across? No. So now I'm bringing up all these because if you're that type of person who is loud in their speech or very strong in their speech, you might get someone who's soft and can't handle that. So it's better that you know that you're coming from a place of, I probably have to adjust this, not change it, but adjust it. Okay? And when you're speaking, it's not to win. It's not to win. I was right and you were wrong. It's never going to end. There can come to an agreement of like, okay, I see your perspective. I hear you. I understand you. And then you can get to a better place of how does this work for both of us? But honestly, if you already entered the match knowing that you're the right one, you already lost. Okay? Bismillah. Oh, we spoke about adab. Okay, so I want you guys really quick because I know I'm already getting the minutes. Where'd she go? Maybe not. Okay. I want to actually, before any of the psychology stuff or anything, I think that, subhanAllah, the Rasulullah was the best, alayhi salatu wassalam, when it came to all of this. And the way he spoke to not just his spouses, but everybody, right? Can anyone think of a time or a hadith where it was shown, like he showed exactly step by step all that was listed about emotional intelligence? Anyone know any of the hadith? Anybody? Like, there's so many cute ones. You guys have to know. I know you know them. Who knows the one about the bird? Come on. The little boy and the bird. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then empathy. Did you guys hear? Did you hear him about the bird? Right? Okay, cool. So here you go. Rasulullah alayhi salam came down to the level of this child, right? And the kid is crying his eyes out about his bird that just passed away. And it wasn't like, it's okay, you'll get another bird. It's okay, this. No, it was more of a place of, I hear you. I know that's so sad. Right? And what does psychology tell us to do? Validate. Sah? Alaikum, girls. So, yes, to validate. SubhanAllah, right? Let's talk about another one, or maybe two more if I can get that in. The many times that women, I'm going to say women, right, that have gone to the Prophet alayhi salam and just complained. You have your hand up. Go ahead. Nice and loud, please, because we got people in the back.